Hi everyone, welcome back to For Teachers. A couple of months ago I posted out on my Instagram and I made a teacher would you rather question game. I only just realised now, searching on YouTube, there is actually already a teacher would you rather tag. That was by Too Cool for Middle School and I've linked the original down in the description. Please go and check that out. I was not the creator of a teacher would you rather game. However, I did really enjoy posting some questions on my Instagram. I'm going to share the results that the questions got because I did a poll, a yes or no question, and I'm also going to talk about what my personal answer to the questions would be. Most of the questions are based around the theme of teaching. Some of them are to do with classroom resources, some of them are to do with classroom situations that you might be faced with. If you would like to play along, please post your own answers on an Instagram post, tag us at For Teachers, and we will repost some of the answers that we get. Without further ado, I will share with you the questions and I will share with you the results. Okay, question number one that I asked was, would you rather not work with a teaching assistant or have three in class at all times? As you can see, 57% of the people who participated in this poll said they would rather have 3 assistants in class at the same time. I've had lots of different scenarios as a teacher. I've had situations where I've had lots of different people help me in class. I've also had situations where it's been myself with no assistant for a full year, so I'm fully aware that teaching assistants are incredibly helpful, useful sort of tools for the classroom. It's really good for children to have that kind of support, especially when they can have one-on-one or small group support. I think though, personally for myself, I would probably say I would go solo, just because I think maybe having 3 different adults in the classroom with me at all times would probably make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe I know they wouldn't be watching and judging, but I would feel as though there was quite a lot of eyes on me as a teacher and I would be more aware of what I was saying. And I do really love that comfortable feeling that you get when you have your class by yourself, you're a little team together, and I don't know. But then maybe I would regret that because 3 people would be very helpful. I could definitely have some really good group work going on. I don't know. I think my answer to that would be go solo though. Let me know what you guys would prefer. Second question is, would you rather teach the same class for 5 years or have to swap school every year? I think this one's really tough because teaching the same class for 5 years, do you think those children would get completely sick of hearing your voice? Do you think you would be completely sick of teaching them? I don't know. Or do you think you'd end up with a really nice bond, you know them so well? Has anyone ever taught the same class for more than 1 year or 2 years even? I don't know if it really happens very often. You normally change teachers, but I'd be really curious to find out more. As you can see from the results, 71% of people said they would prefer to teach the same class for 5 years than have to swap school every year. Yeah, I can imagine being the new face in a school every year would be quite tough. I think I would go the same. I think I would say the same class for 5 years because you would just end up with such a nice bond maybe. Would you rather a 4-day weekend or keep your holidays the same? So obviously you would get rid of your holidays if you choose the 4-day weekend. 66% of teachers that answered this question said they would prefer to keep their holidays the same. I don't know, yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with the teacher holiday situation. It's a real perk of the job. I don't think I would change it. But, you know, a 4-day weekend would be lovely. Sometimes as well, the summer holidays as a teacher can feel like they drag on for quite a long time. And I know that sounds very ungrateful and why would I not want 6 weeks off? Of course I want 6 weeks off. But maybe towards the end of the holiday, you start to miss your routine quite a lot. Yeah, I think I would probably keep it the same though. So I would agree with the majority on that one. What would you guys do? Would you rather have plenty of school supplies or would you rather take a trip every single week? And I mean a trip with your students, not just going to the beach by yourself. 70% of teachers have answered and said they would like to have plenty of school supplies, which obviously is quite a worrying thing, and maybe I need to do a video exploring this properly in the future. The fact that a lot of schools don't really have adequate school supplies is quite worrying and quite upsetting as a school teacher, knowing that there are teachers out there who just don't have what they need to make their classroom the best it can be. I know that there's a huge discussion all about this and it's definitely something that I would like to share my opinion on at some point. I have been there. I have been in situations where there is not enough glue sticks, there's not enough funding for the equipment that you want to get for a lesson that you want to teach. So I know how it can be. I know it can be really tough. But then I did say plenty, so maybe they thought I meant you know, loads of really good fun stuff, like loads of robotics stuff and art supplies. 30% have said they would prefer to go on a trip every week. Of course, school trips for some teachers might be quite stressful experiences anyway. I'm not sure that all teachers really enjoy school trips that much because, you know, it requires a lot of organising. Maybe I need to do a video on school trips because I don't think I enjoyed school trips for a while because I did find the whole organisation process to be quite stressful. I think I would choose to go on a school trip every week. I think I would be prepared for that, and that would be really nice. I don't know where we would go. I think we'd run out of places to go. Would you rather have a really well-behaved class from the start or a tricky and challenging class from the start? This is actually really similar to one of the questions that's on the original Teacher Would You Rather video. I just had a look at the questions. I'm gonna go with the tricky class. I really would, and I know that if push came to shove, I might be tempted to change my mind and say, no, give me a really settled class from day one. I can start some like really good lessons from day one and not worry too much about my routines. I do like a challenge. I don't know, maybe behaviour management used to be something that I found really hard, but I think these days I would definitely prefer that really satisfying feeling of taking a class that need a bit of extra support and really boosting them up, which is funny because 79% of people said they would prefer to start the year with a well-behaved class. But there you go. Let me know what you would say because I'm with the 21% there. Would you rather stay in touch with ex-pupils and find out what jobs they have in the future, or would you rather keep it a mystery? You don't need to know them, you've been part of their journey and that's all you need. 85% of people say they would like to find out where their students end up working in the future. I don't know, keep it a mystery. I feel like, yeah, I would probably like to know. I don't think I would want to stay in touch in the sense that I wouldn't want to be like messaging and sending letters to all these students because, I mean, there's already quite a lot of students that I've had as part of my life, but I would love to find out what they do for jobs. You know, because you have students in your class and sometimes you assume or you think like, oh, I know what you're going to be, you're definitely going to be this when you're older, and it might be surprising to find out that students do something completely different or they take a career path that you never would have had picked out for them. I don't know, maybe yeah, I would like to find out what the students are up to in the future. I would say yes, I would find out. That would be interesting, I think. And I'm with 85% of people there, so only 15% of people would rather keep it a mystery and not know where they've ended up. I would be curious, I would want to know. Would you rather, for your school building, would you want it to be a traditional retro style building or would you prefer it to be modern? And by traditional, I guess I have this whole, like, I put a picture of Hogwarts in there. I have this whole image of it being like very old school brick building, like nice cozy primary school, kind of what pops into your head when you imagine like an old traditional primary school. And on the flip side, I've got a modern building. The school that I used to work at in Manchester was a very modern building. It had a kind of spaceship feel to it, like lots of nice little study spaces for the children to go into, lots of like really amazing technology. The building was a really unusual shape. It didn't feel traditional in any way. Very bright colours. Yeah, I don't know like what people would prefer. I know there are a lot of teachers that would prefer a really cozy old traditional like old-fashioned school, maybe with like a traditional classroom setup. In fact, 75% of people have said they would prefer to have a modern building. I think I would agree with the majority here. I think I would prefer a modern style building to teach in. I do like the idea of the sort of breakaway spaces and study spaces and the children having the freedom to sort of roam a little bit more. The school I'm at right now doesn't really have that opportunity. It's just not big enough, the school, but maybe next time I look for a job I'll be looking for somewhere with quite modern setup. But I do like the fact that I've worked in two different types of school. I've had a more traditional primary school that I've worked in, and I've also had a very modern school, so I kind of feel like I've got experience of both, and I think both have definitely got their pros. Would you rather have a class pet or would it be considered too much fuss? Now in the UK, I feel like it's not as common to have a class pet. I don't really remember any of my teacher friends having a class pet, unless you count Ryan having an ant farm, and that was an actual disaster. As you may have seen in a video that we did previously, Ryan's ant farm ended up everywhere. The ants were all released, they were smashed, it was a disaster. But generally you don't hear that much about teachers having class pets. I think maybe in America it's quite normal to have a class hamster or class goldfish or a turtle, I don't know. but I have seen a couple of teachers do it in the UK. I would probably say no, I do not want a class pet. I think it would be too much fuss. I would feel a real responsibility towards that animal, and I don't know if I could always commit to the care for that animal. I think it would be amazing for children to have an animal in class and feel that sense of ownership towards a little life and looking after it. I think you could get loads of good writing out of it, like write a care manual for our class pet and you can name it and take photos. But for myself personally, I just don't know if I could commit to looking after an animal, especially when it comes to holiday time. Like, who looks after the animal? Who takes it home? But if anyone has had a class pet in the past, especially if it's something like a guinea pig or a hamster, please let me know what that experience is like. Do you feel like the children really benefited a lot from having that like life in class with them? How did that feel? Would you recommend it now, or would you change your mind? Would you not want that? I don't know. Very curious, because I know it is not particularly common in the UK to have a classroom pet. Would you rather never teach again or be a teacher for the rest of your working life? I feel like this one is a really tricky question, and yet so many people have answered teach forever. 81% of people have said they would like to be a teacher for the rest of their working lives. Now, assuming that they don't retire until they're 65? How old is retirement age these days? Quite a long time to commit to. My answer to that one, I think if I had to choose, like if I really truly had to choose, I would probably, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like this is actually the hardest question that I've set, even for myself. Like, I can't think of my answer. I don't know if I want to be a teacher forever. Right now, I absolutely love teaching. I love everything about it. I don't know if I'd want to do it forever. So, no, I would say, if I had to choose, I would say teach forever. Just because the two options there are quite strict. Like, you have to quit or do it forever. I think I would say do it forever. That's tough though. That's really tough. What would you say? What would you do? Would you be a teacher forever, or would you quit tomorrow? Tough one. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the subscribe button. Let me know if you would like a part 2. Tag us on Instagram with your answers too, and we will see you on the next video. Bye!